Hello everyone and welcome to Tales from the Bridge. This is episode 60 and it's another Trivia from the Bridge episode this week with Dominic Monaghan. This episode was recorded a few months ago when Ryan McDougall and myself recorded this with Dominic. We've got more of these episodes that we're moving over to Tales from the Bridge and we hope you enjoy these ones. We're going to have new guests coming on, more TV, film actors, filmmakers. We're going to have authors join us on Trivia from the Bridge as well, so watch for these episodes every once in a while. We really hope you like these ones. Next week, we are talking about Salvation by Peter F. Hamilton. We're also going to be talking about Avatar in some upcoming episodes. I think we're going to do a deep dive into Andor, the TV show, because we've got to do that. We're going to have more film recommendations, talk about some more short stories, more books, and different episodes as well. We've got a lot coming up with Tales from the Bridge. Please follow us, like us, leave us a review, rate us. We want to hear from you. Thank you so much for joining us so far. Please tell a friend, tell a family member about our show if you think they like science fiction. We'd love to hear from you. Tales from the Bridge podcast at gmail.com if you want to write in. We're on Twitter. Join our Facebook group. Just find us on the intronet. We are out there. Thanks so much for joining us. All right, Dom's waiting for us. Let's make our way over to the bridge. So we are here with Dominic Monaghan, Lost, Lord of the Rings. One of my favorites is Wild Things with Dominic Monaghan. It's I love how much I got to learn and have fun. I already love travel shows, but just to learn about animals and insects and your passion for that too, Dom, was just awesome. So that's one of my favorites. And then now the Friendship Onion, highly recommend checking that out. So the Friendship Onion, just Google it. There's a website for merch, and you can listen to it anywhere you can listen to podcasts, and even YouTube, you get the actual videos too. So there's just a lot of stuff, and you guys are coming up on a year soon, I think, of the. Is it this spring?
I think it must be. Yeah, we'll have to have some special year-long anniversary show. I'm not sure what we'll do yet, but we'll figure something out.
All right, and then we've got Marty here, and he's a sci-fi nerd. So there's a couple giveaways because I got some book questions here. And actually, that's something that, well, we'll get into that in a bit, but I know you like to read, Dom, too. So I'm not sure if you're into the sci-fi, too, but
yeah.
Awesome. All right. So first round, 5 questions. We've got 3 rounds of 5 questions. So let's get to the first round right now. Question number 1 is worth 5 points. Founded in 1981, the film production company Amblin Entertainment has a logo that features a famous silhouette from what film?
E.T.
That was dumb.
Bingo.
5 points to
Good. Well, there
Dom.
we go. Okay, now I'm intimidated.
Marty, did you know that one and just weren't quick enough, or?
Oh no, I didn't know that. That is
You didn't
not
know
the
that?
kind of thing I know.
All right.
Kind of all my wheelhouse. If you ask a science question, I might struggle.
We'll try to keep it even. All right. Question 2. What golf term is derived from the old Scottish word for piece of turf that was used for formerly roofing cottages?
And this one's worth 10 points.
Golf term. I only know one golf term, and it's 4. Is that it? Am I already out of the competition if I get it wrong? Sorry, I'm just
No.
No.
Yeah.
Dom, you want to throw a guess out there?
Well, sure. I'll take a guess, but yeah, like a piece of turf. I guess I'll guess bogey.
No.
So the answer for that one, it was a tough one. I'll be honest with you. I mean, even as someone who knows just a little bit of golf, I wouldn't have got it. It's a divot. A divot, I guess, was a word they used to use to put roofs on the old cottages. And when I golf in particular, you see lots of them because I'm just throwing dirt all over the place.
All right. Question 3, 10 points. What 1995 Lucy Lawless show was a spinoff from Hercules: The Legendary Journey?
Xena Warrior Princess.
Whoa.
Correct.
Whew. All right.
For bonus points, Lucy versus Kevin. Lucy Lawless versus Kevin Sorbo in real life. Who wins?
Probably Lucy. She's quite an impressive Physical.
She is.
All right. So question 4. Now this is 15 points. 15 points. Scientists believe that evolution has allowed humans to see more shades of certain colors than others. What color can the human eye see the most shades of?
Red.
No.
Incorrect.
Blue.
Now, we'll give you a clue here. This is likely due to the fact that our ancestors needed to spot predators more readily in the wild.
Brown.
Yellow?
Cool. No.
Green.
Green.
It is
green,
It
but
is green.
Green.
It is green. And it's not even close. It's by like degrees more that we can see,
Wow.
apparently. So that, yeah, we could see the tall grasses. So when you were in Wild Things, you could keep an eye on
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
predators approaching you in the long grasses. That's right.
Yeah, I guess you want to see a variation, like movement of plants and grasses and stuff, right? So,
Exactly.
or even
It's
you'd
what-
want to see the contrast of an animal which is not green against all of the green. So you're focused on the green, and then when you see a color that you aren't so used to seeing, stands
right,
out
it
more.
jumps out. Well, thank God I got one, and it was a science question so far. I'd be super embarrassed.
Yeah, but I think
Back in the game.
That's
Yeah,
right.
all right.
That's right. Exactly.
All right. Okay, so question 5 here, last question of round 1. I'm going to make a fool of myself for this question. And I'm going to say, Dom, if you get this, it's 15 points. Marty, if you get this, it's 1,000 points.
Oh, wow. All right. I'm in.
Name this tune. Hewlett.
I know. Yeah, it's a good impression. It's a good impression. It's a great band. That's from the Software Slump. That's Granddaddy's Hewlett's Daughter, which I think is track 2 on that.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
it is.
Okay, that's bonus
Yeah.
points all over the place for the album title and the track number.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
So-
Marty, come on, man.
Well, I got to say, I kind of set that up for you, Dom. I listened to you talking with Elijah, and something that's really interesting for me myself is you guys named an album each that was definitive to listening to while doing Lord of the Rings. And you said, one of you said Granddaddy, the Software Slump.
Yeah, I think
One of you said that was yours.
No, I think that was Elijah. I think
That was Elijah.
I think I was Travis or Cole.
You were Travis, the Man Who. One of
Yeah.
you, well, so the Man Who, and then also Parachutes. Yeah, Coldplay. Those 3 albums were huge for me. Now, I had come over to England. I was born there, so I periodically go back. And I remember going over in the late 90s, and I brought back that music. Now, Granddaddy was from California, so I heard of them through a magazine that came with a CD, like back in the day. In Canada, no one knows Granddaddy. No one knows Travis. And obviously the whole world knows Coldplay, but Parachutes is very different from what they do now also.
Yeah. I mean, I still feel like Parachutes is the best thing they've ever done. Most bands' first album is hard to beat. Travis the Man Who wasn't their first album. They'd had a couple before then, but I kind of think that was their strongest album too. And then Granddaddy's Software Slump is one of the more underrated and unknown concept albums that I love. It's all based in space. It deals with the loneliness of space, robots becoming intelligent, passing over certain planets but not being able to land on them. And the whole album just has that connection between the kind of vast expanses of space and then the kind of claustrophobic relationship that the person on the spaceship only has with technology, with computers and screens and buttons and levers and stuff like that. But it's one of those albums that really seems to transport you off to a different place. And I would heartily recommend The Software Slump by Granddaddy. It's just a brilliant album.
Yeah. Now, can you think of, there's another album that I really liked by an artist who is mentioned in both The Man Who and on The Software Slump. Can you think of that? Now, I know it's tricky. There's no points for this. I just want to test you here, Dom.
Does he mention the band or does he mention a song by that band?
He mentions the artist.
Yeah, by name.
So I'll give you a clue here.
Yeah.
In Slideshow from Travis, you have there is no design for life.
Yeah,
there's no
Preachers.
there's no devil's haircut in my
Devil's
mind.
Haircut, Beck, yeah. Oh yeah,
So
they
Beck.
have mentioned Beck in the software.
There you go.
one.
There you go.
Yeah.
He says, I try to sing funny like Beck.
Let's bring me down. Yeah.
So are you a fan of Beck?
I like Beck a lot, yeah. We all listened to that music when we were in New Zealand as well. Odelay was, kind of played ad nauseum when we were in New Zealand. There's actually really fun footage of Beck and Paul McCartney being refused entry into a club in LA to see live music. And Beck and Paul McCartney seem kind of okay with it. Like they're not super happy. They're kind of like, okay, all right. And then some people that are with either McCartney or Beck, I'm guessing maybe McCartney, kind of say to the security guy, do you know who this is? That's Sir Paul McCartney and that's Beck. And the guy's like, we're full. I don't care. And he clearly didn't know. It's one of them moments. I mean, maybe he doesn't care, but Beck is a slightly acquired taste, but Paul McCartney, like a living icon, and you're not allowing him into your club. It's kind of strange.
Yeah. Can you do a Paul McCartney?
Like when he was young, he used to talk like up there quite a bit. His chain kind of goes quite deep now when he talks, But,
that's pretty good. I fancy I could do Not Bad George, but sometimes when I do the George, it kind of just naturally turns into the John, and I can't do the difference between the.
There's a few different ways that John used to speak. Like when he was younger, he had this kind of like acerbic way, like everyone's kind of fighting with him. And then later on, his voice kind of gets this quite kind of high thing that he does when he's in New York. Like, but it's strange, the Beatles, because the Scouse accent is really specific, and it's very kind of strong. None of the Beatles really kept any level of strong Scouse because you wouldn't be able to understand them, certainly internationally. So I think they must have been told by Brian Epstein, I would assume, now that you're doing press all day, every day, you need to be a little bit more easy to understand with your voice, which
I think is why Paul kind of goes up there, just kind of slows everything down and just kind of tries to become clear.
Really, they're all from Liverpool, so they should all be talking like that, really. But none of the Beatles talk like they're from Liverpool, which is a very strange accent. Yeah, it's weird. We're only I'm from Manchester, which is only 25 minutes, half an hour down the road from Liverpool. The accents are so different. And Liverpool's obviously a port, and that's one of the major things that they think with Liverpool is they had so many people from the European continent coming in. Specifically, Holland was a major kind of tributary between the Liverpool port and the Netherlands. So you've got these people who are Dutch speaking English, combining with the people in Liverpool who obviously speak English, and it creates this very bizarre accent,
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, Tristan, you told me that Paul McCartney, his voice probably changed because he died, right? And this has been a fake double living his life.
Yeah, he died. In Toronto.
Oh, in Toronto. That's why.
Yeah,
that's why I know this. It's a Canadian thing. Yeah.
Exactly.
On Blue Jay Way. Sitting here on Blue Jay Way.
It's a great job, Tom.
Yeah. All right. Round two?
Yeah.
Well, sure.
Round two, for sure.
All right. Let's do it.
All right. So first question, round two, is worth 25 points.
Boy.
Yes. Now, in 2019, this team won the NBA championship. They still remain the best basketball team of all time, even though they don't win championships anymore and won't likely for a long time.
The Raptors.
You got it.
Yeah.
All right.
Didn't really win it. That's crazy. I had no idea that the Raptors won an NBA championship.
You and everybody else. No one
You and
else.
everybody else, unless you were in Toronto or Montreal or any major Canadian city with like people on the streets having the biggest party in years. Yeah.
But
I don't know the first thing about sports except that one thing because I was on the streets of Montreal.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, we had Kawhi Leonard on the team then. Then he came down to you guys for the Clippers.
Right. Yeah, that's what happens, right? They all get scalped eventually if they're good.
Just like our actors.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
all
guys
right.
steal all our best comedians.
That's right.
All right, so let's do these ones are a bit tricky.
Okay.
Question 2 worth 25 points. What Swedish television show inspired the concept for Survivor? That's a tricky one.
Is it like a Swedish name? Like
No, it's not even. It probably did, but we just have the English translation.
Swedish.
No, I don't know. I know that it was. I know that there's the Survivor American, explosive TV show was not the original show. That it was based on a slightly lesser known Swedish show, but I don't know the name for that show.
Do we know the year the first season launched?
Ever wondered what it takes to make it in the movie business? Peel back the curtain with 4-6 Success Filmmaking. 4-6 Success Filmmaking is where filmmakers share their stories and the secrets.
It's beyond competitive out there.
There have been movies that it's taken me 10 years to get made.
Don't wait to create. Like, you've got to just keep making stuff.
Tune in to 4-6 Success Filmmaking for your dose of cinematic realness, direct from the voices that have lived it.
Survivor.
We're
We're in season 41 now.
2000 is correct.
Oh, 2000. Sorry, I cheated there. I did kind of.
Yeah.
So it was. Well, they're in their 41st season right now, right? And 2 per year.
They do 2 a year. That's right.
No, that should be about right.
Yeah, I know. In 1997, there was a show called Expedition Robinson out of Sweden, and it only aired for like 3 years, but it was incredibly popular, and then clearly it got swept into the North American syndication. Yeah, it became the Survivor that we know now. Yeah.
All right.
These
are this one's. I think the next 2 are pretty tricky. Also,
Dom, do you hang out with famous people from Survivor? Do you have friends that are reality TV?
Anyone really?
No.
I don't really. I've become friends with the host Jeff Probst over the years because he knew that I was a fan of the show, and I see him every so often when he's not working. I've met a couple of the guys. I've met, Boston Rob's really lovely. I met, what's the name of the kind of bookish, nerdish guy recently that won? He's got red hair.
Spencer
Cochran,
yeah. I met Cochran a couple of times. And
he's writing for Star Trek now.
Oh, good for him, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun show. I really enjoy Survivor. I think it's I don't watch the kind of slightly more fly in the wall voyeuristic reality, like Keeping Up with the Kardashians or the Real Housewives of whatever.
Big Brother, things like that.
Yeah, Big Brother. I'm not really that interested in that, but I like the kind of game show stuff. I like The Amazing Race. I like Survivor. That's about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a same thing here. I had a friend probably about 5 years ago who said, check out Survivor. And I thought, Survivor? That's not my thing. I don't watch reality show. Just try it. And I watched it and thought, well, it's a show. It's a game. It's they are playing an actual game, and it's a tough game. Also, I love outdoor stuff and challenges. So it was just, I loved it immediately and didn't think I would. So I'd consider myself to be quite a fan now.
There's the game within the game as well, which I really love. You've obviously got the quiz, and you got the fact that they're only eating rice and they're getting bitten by mosquitoes, and there's rats in the camp and all that kind of stuff. But then you've got the social game within the game, so it doesn't matter how good you might be at winning a quiz or doing well in a physical challenge. You also have to be well liked in the team, because if you're not, they're gonna throw you out. So you have to juggle, like, should I be excellent in the challenges and kind of average in the social game? Like, how do you balance it out? Because if you're great at both, now you're a target and you get kicked out anyway. So I like it. It's a sophisticated game. And
it's tough to tell what the through line is with people that are successful. Like, it seems to be a very varied group of talents that everyone seems to have. There's no tried and true method. Like, oh yeah, for sure, this person's going to nail it. Because sometimes there's a surprise. And everyone's different, right?
Yeah, true. Yeah, I love it.
All right. So third question now. All right. We're into the 100-point questions here, guys. So yeah, well, it's also, these may be getting a little more difficult as we go, but,
don't worry about points, guys. Just don't worry about the points.
What is considered to be the first science fiction film ever produced?
Metropolis?
Ooh, better.
That was my guess, but it's not it. That's what
There is one that predates both of those.
Is it the one of the rocket ship flying into the moon?
It is. It's that iconic image of the moon with the face with the rocket in its eye.
All right.
He's like, oh, what are you doing?
Yeah.
The French film, right?
Yep.
I don't know the name of it. The same French company were famous for filming a whole bunch of people leaving a factory, which is not that interesting, but became kind of an iconic filmed moment. But
yeah, the frame rate of it was the thing that made it fascinating. It was Le Voyage dans la Lune, or A Trip to the Moon. From 1902.
Wow.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, it's that image, right, of the face with the claymation moon guy with the rocket in his eye. That's right. It's a rocket fired out of a cannon.
Right.
Yeah.
Very short piece of film, right? I mean, was it a few minutes, and they considered, like, people would go and sit down in a movie theater to watch that a couple of times.
That's right. Yeah, pretty awesome. They did that, and they get their film strip, right? They find out what's happening with the war, and then watch a little sci-fi, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
All right, question 4. 100 points. What is the first TV game show ever aired? 1938.
Ooh, jeez. Well,
Can you tell us the country that it aired? Or would that give it away?
Well, it transmitted live from Alexandra Palace in London.
Yeah.
This game show. It's not the. I'm going to guess. It's not the Generation Game.
No,
I don't know.
I got nothing.
That's
it's
all
something
right.
It's something that kids do. It's that as a competition at school.
Really? Was it a spelling bee?
Exactly.
It was spelling bee, May 31st, 1938. It was only 15 minutes, and it was transmitted live from the palace. Yeah, it was the spelling bee. Yeah. Well, entertainment was different back then. Right?
Well, I think he gets at least half points for that. You're pretty sharp here, Dom. You're wiping the floor with me.
That was a guess. I got lucky.
I think that Marty's going to get this one, so we'll do 42 points for Marty if he gets it.
Oh, okay.
And if you can get this, Dom, we'll give you 237 points.
Woo! It's a science question.
It's a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy question. That's what it sounds like to me.
Nice. So it's in Pierce Brown's novel, Red Rising, red is the lowest faction. What is the highest?
Gold.
Nice.
No hesitation.
I had to jump on
no
that
hesitation at all.
Darn it. I have not read that book. Is that a good book? Can you?
Oh man, you got to read that book.
It's a great series.
Book.
Yeah.
The whole series, it gets better. It's one of these ones that starts great, and then the second one's like, wow, this is even better. And I haven't read the third one yet, but I read a lot, and this one, like, it's not very pretentious or hoity-toity or intellectual. It's like a solid romp, hero story, action, characters. Technology. It's great. It's got everything. If you like that sort of thing, like a page-turner kind of.
Yeah, the pacing is fantastic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I got to tell you, Dom, you love insects, don't you?
Yeah, I do love insects.
I've got a book for you.
Oh, no shit.
Have you heard of Children of Time by Adrian Tchaikovsky?
No.
So if I could recommend one book out of this whole conversation, as you're a book lover, Children of Time by Adrian Tchaikovsky, you're gonna love it. It's spiders, and I don't want to tell you much more because actually Marty recommended this to me. It's turning into one of those books that it's being recommended by many, and it's easy to get behind. You've got some of the most lovable characters in any book that I've read in it, well, at least in a very long time, and it's spiders and it's insects, and I figured you would love that. It's just one of those ones you've got to pass on, and if you give that one a go, I think you will be. I think you'll like it.
Nice. I wrote it down in my phone, so I'll go check it out.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
Awesome. All right, round 3, final round. 5 more questions to go here. We might as well start off with another science fiction book question. A Maze of Death. This is worth 50 points. A Maze of Death. Ubik. The 3 Stigmata of Palmer Aldrich. Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? Are books by this author.
Whoa!
I think we both get that one.
That was a tie, I think.
That was a tie.
That was a tie.
Very good.
Yeah. Nice one. We'll split those up.
Well, that was a bit of a giveaway. We read Ubik for the book club in the podcast. Well, before we were a podcast, so might have been a little unfair there to give me that.
Hard to keep track of them all.
I got it from Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, which is the Blade Runner template.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
I like the newer Blade Runner more than the old one. I don't know if that's blasphemous to say, but
I certainly like the new one.
I enjoyed it for sure.
I wonder if maybe the feel of the original Ridley Scott film has, like, I like so many different films for so many different reasons, but I think one of the reasons why the original Blade Runner sticks with me is it has an amazing feeling about that film, that it just captures that kind of nihilistic noir maybe better than any other sci-fi. I think the recent Blade Runner is technically much better, and the effects are much better, and maybe the story's even much better. But just that lonely feeling that you get from Deckard in the original, it's kind of hard to beat that, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the original feels really good. It's the first time we had anything like that.
It also really like drove home that feeling of general paranoia,
right?
Of the whole world, right? What's real, what's not, right?
Yeah.
What's your place in it, kind of thing. Yeah, absolutely.
One of the first times that a lot of people were introduced to Vangelis as well, which is an overwhelming score in that first film. You know, it's just intoxicating.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a score guy? Do you really appreciate different scores? And
yeah, I like scores for sure. I mean, I definitely pick up scores that I enjoy. I mean, obviously, I worked with Michael Cicino a few times on some projects, and the stuff that he does is
he's great.
Like Philip Glass, I think is really interesting, and Clint Mansell, Ennio Morricone, anything that he's ever done. There's some, because if I like a film and I'm driving around, sometimes I want to feel like I'm reminded of those scenes or that film, and there's nothing better than putting on a score on a road trip and feeling like you're being transported into that different movie world. It's great.
Actually, on that note, I figured this out by accident, and this is going back to Howard Shore and Granddaddy. But I know this sounds weird, but there's a chord progression in Jed's third poem where it's the you thought I'd wake up dead drunk alone in the park. That's the same chord progression as I can't remember the song title, the track title, but when you guys come out of where you just lost Gandalf and you guys come out and you're crying and that beautiful music, same chord progression as that Granddaddy song.
Really? Wow. Yeah. Amazing.
It's a neat little tidbit.
Yeah, you get influence from different places, because there's a lot of, like, if you listen to the score of Lord of the Rings, the Howard Shore score, there's a lot of nods towards classical pieces of literature, Beethoven and Mozart and Brahms and Strauss and stuff like that. You can hear little nods towards it, and then it goes in different directions because it's, Lord of the Rings is almost thought to be like like a prehistory of the world. So he's pulling in all of these kind of classical pieces of work, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Cool.
All right. Ryan, you got question 2?
Yeah.
there?
Yeah. Question 2. So this one's 100 points. And what are the 5 basic tastes?
Sweet, sour, umami, bitter,
And there's one more.
salt.
Yes.
Yes.
There
You
you
got all 5. You got umami. Nobody gets umami.
I'm a fan of umami.
Nice work. What's the best one? Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah,
We were
yeah.
talking about it earlier on. Like, I love seaweed. I love mushrooms. I love hoisin
Yeah.
sauce. I love any of those slightly earthier, thicker, complicated flavors. I think umami, alongside sour, because I'm a huge fan of sour. I love umami.
Amazing. Nice. I was not expecting that. Well done.
How long ago was it that umami kind of officially came in as a taste? It's relatively recent, right?
It is very recent, like within the last 10 years at least. Like it's actually been recognized within the culinary community as something that they take into account.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Cool.
Very cool.
I think they used to just call it savory or something before they identified it.
Right.
Yeah.
Isn't that why they put MSG in things? Is MSG the umami flavor?
It lends to it for sure,
lends
and
to it,
salty
yeah.
as well. Yeah,
Right,
absolutely.
right.
All right. Question 3, 100 points. The Nahuatl were an ancient peoples in southern Mexico and Central America. What fruit, sometimes called an alligator pear, has a name that comes from the Nahuatl for testicle?
Whoa, dude, that's a whole lot of information all at
That's a lot
once.
of information.
Just think alligator pear.
From Mexico.
Fruit.
Guava. No.
Good
No.
guess.
It's a good guess. Is it papaya?
No.
No, I think fruit's throwing us off here.
Because you'd think it is a vegetable, wouldn't you?
Oh, it's an avocado.
It is an avocado.
Ah,
Yeah.
alright.
Yeah. It's the pit. It's the pit that makes it. Yeah, I know, right?
It's the testicle.
I guess, yeah, the sort of texture on the outside is a little wrinkly-ish. Right?
Alligator-ish,
Testicle-esque.
Yeah, that makes
Exactly.
sense. Alligator pear. Yeah.
I needed that hint, though, Ryan. That it wasn't quite.
Yeah,
as
I'm here
good.
for you, Marty. I'm here for you.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. All right.
I feel like this next one might be off kilter here, just because Marty being Canadian and all.
Yeah, it's true. But you know what though? It was British forces. So
Okay.
yeah. So what year did British forces coming from the Upper Canada region burn down the White House?
1812.
Sorry about that.
Got it.
Boom.
Nice.
Oh, geez, you're getting all these
Nice,
secret
Marty.
advantages here. Yeah. Basically, I slid by entirely on my Canadiana in this whole episode.
I like it. Different skill sets, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Did you have to learn much about Canadian history, Dom, in England? Is there anything that you guys had to learn about?
Well, just that we're a good colony.
Yeah, we definitely do a little bit of the kind of English people wanting to practice their religion in freedom, heading over to Canada and North America and colonizing that part of the world, the white people colonizing that part of the world, at least. Not a huge amount more than that. Our Canada tends to run into stuff like logging, Mounties, freezing cold weather,
Maple
ice
syrup.
buckets, little cliche.
Igloos. We all get around on dog sleds.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's good. It keeps people out. Keeps our real estate expansive.
Yeah. There's a
right.
massive landmass and hardly any people live there. It's impressive.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so last question. The points are going to be all over the place here because there's really not a correct answer, but there's also 5 different answers you could say, and depending on what answer, you'll get particular points for that answer. So, Gollum is to Smeagol as Tyler Durden is to...
I don't know the name of that guy in Fight Club because they're both the same person, right? Is he? He's not called like himself or something like that in the film or in the book, right? Because
well, if you were to look at his character name on IMDb, it would just say the narrator.
Right.
And if you had said that, we would have given you 100 points. But there are 2 instances where he puts fake names on his name tag when he's at like the tuberculosis group meeting. And then so there's 2 different names. Can you think of those names? Marty, do you know Fight Club well?
Well, no, I'm just cluing in here.
Cornelius?
Yeah. 500
wow.
points.
Wow, that was
a big one.
Boom.
That was a deep dig there.
It's a great film. It's a great book. I remember being some of my favorite memories ever is when I personally leave a cinema and I'm like completely adrenalized and just so excited to have seen what I've seen. And Fight Club was like that. I remember coming out of the cinema and just kind of being elated, even though it's a relatively somber look at the human experience. Just the acting and the design and the vibe and the music and the kind of coolness of that whole film. I mean, I'm not sure if Brad Pitt's ever been that cool, like because Tyler Durden, the element of Tyler Durden that Brad Pitt plays is so intentionally cool. Like he's trying to wear cool clothes and trying to say cool things, and I think Brad Pitt's kind of effortlessly cool, and that makes him, kind of hip. But the thing about the character he plays in Fight Club is he's actually trying to be like, hey, I am your cool alter ego, So I've stolen like T-shirts that he's worn or things that he does. I think I was talking about it on the podcast ages ago. I climb the stairs in the same way that Brad Pitt climbs the stairs. I've always done that since I've done it. He does this like strange, heavy foot thing when he climbs the stairs, and I don't know why it just kind of sunk into me through osmosis. When I climb the stairs, I do this like strange Brad Pitt thing. So,
yeah, definitely one of the most important films of the '90s, and it stands up too. It doesn't feel dated at all. Really stands up.
What's the most recent film you've gone to where you have walked out of a cinema feeling that way?
Well, the one that jumps out at me really quickly that I just came out and I was like, man, that was so fun, and I was in such a good mood was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I remember just coming out.
Yeah.
And wow, like the animation was extraordinary and the music and what happened to his character. And I just came out and I was like, I feel like a 10-year-old kid. Like I just want to like jump up and down and stuff. I like Dune as well. I thought Dune was really, really fun.
Yeah. Spider-Verse was also funny, right? I mean, Marvel movies are pretty funny, but that was like, it was just hilarious.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, I think it definitely created a whole new generation of Spider-Man lovers too, even more so than the live action ones. Like I think I haven't met a kid in the last year that hasn't been obsessed with that movie. Just because it's also, as much as I loved it myself, it's also getting a whole other generation involved, which is awesome. And also just the representation, right? The diversity of the different types of Spider-Man characters. And that's always beautiful to see too, right?
Totally. It's about time that the pigs also finally got that.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
So Ryan's just going to tally up those points there.
Yeah, so we're very close. We're very close. Ooh. We got Dom with 505 points. And we got Marty with 395 points.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So there's a chance here to kind of even the score. We do have one more question. It's kind of our bonus question. And honestly, the way things have been going, this could go either way.
All right.
This could go either way.
Ready for it.
All right. Tristan, you want to go ahead?
But hold on. Didn't Dom get 500 points for his last answer?
Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. I don't want to be too technical here. I'm just, the math guy. I'm pretty sure he got some other ones, but you guys are clearly cheating on my behalf, and I don't mind. That's cool.
All right. Final question. Let's see if Marty can tie this up.
All right.
What is lysergic acid diethylamide, and who discovered it?
LSD. I don't know who discovered it. some scientist, right? Got it on his finger in a laboratory.
Yeah.
Kind of went through as osmosis.
Went for a bike ride or something.
Yeah. I mean, like Timothy Leary is attributed with bringing it to the masses in the States, but I don't know the name of the scientist. Marty, you should. This is your wheel.
No, I know. I'm embarrassed. That name is in my brain somewhere.
He's out. Marty has also traveled to other galaxies on this substance, I believe. So, like, this is.
Yeah.
Back.
I mean, I've probably had my own personal conversations with this guy.
It's a very interesting chemical. Fascinating. I think that's one of the more fascinating things about that we've discovered as an animal is there are certain things out there that obviously change your mindset, but there are other things that change your mindset and can sometimes transport you to places that everyone seems to also go to, these DMT worlds and
that's right.
mushroom worlds or ayahuasca worlds. You'll start to realize that not only are you going to specific places, but people have been there before and they recognize certain areas or certain things in that. Like, what is that about? That's something very hard to explain through science, but it does happen.
Well, I have a theory that we have an intersubjective world that is actually objective in a sense. Like, if computers can talk to each other and network and create a place together, right? Like, I think kind of humans do that too. That's kind of me and Tristan fight about this all the time. I'm the mystic hippie in the group, and somehow he's the hard-nosed scientist. But I think if our brains are connected, if our subconscious is connected somehow, right, across the species or across groups, then there are real places that we create, subjectively together. And I think that makes sense for acid, for these drugs, that they give access to this sort of realm of intersubjective reality that we can go to, and people have gone to and have consistent laws. And it's like the dream world, right? The dream world has consistent laws that are obeyed, even though you'd think that anything can happen and it's just made up. But they're like, you can't turn lights on and off in rooms, and you can't read. You can't ever read like text. It always gets fuzzy and weird, right?
Or a clock, right? Isn't that a thing? Yeah. You can't tell time in dreams. Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know the name of that scientist, but I do know the anecdote of him. Isn't that true? Didn't he accidentally get some on his finger, and then he either licked his finger or it went in through his skin? Because acid can do that, right?
I seem to remember him having it. He put it in his pocket and did not realize that on a hot summer day his sweat would absorb it, or his perspiring skin would actually melt, or
and he was like
liquefy,
running or biking or something at the time.
He was on a bike.
Yeah,
but his name was
Albert Hoffman.
Albert Hoffman. There we go.
Albert Hoffman was that particular gentleman. Well, as much as I tried to help you, Marty,
that's okay. That's okay. I think Don definitely won this whole thing on his own merit.
Lucky. He got spoiled with the questions.
I got to ask you about that painting of Darth Vader behind you. What's the story there? It looks great.
Yeah. So that was a gift, I believe. A friend of mine went to an art show that I was supposed to attend, and I couldn't make it because I think I was doing my nature show, and our times changed in terms of us coming back, and we had to leave a day later to pick up some filming. My friend went to this art show and saw this at the art show and was like, "Well, you're supposed to come with me." And obviously, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. She was like, "I bought this for you anyway." So yeah, that's what that is. Yeah, it's fun.
It looks like the Darth Vader from the original comic, because I remember I had a copy of that comic from '77, and it looked like that Darth Vader.
I like the darkness. Obviously, there's always been a darkness about Darth Vader, but that particular kind of idea of Darth Vader is slightly zombified, slightly strange-looking Darth Vader. I've said to my friends before, we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago, that like I can't think of another character in the art world, whether it's books or movies or TV, that is so dastardly, dressed in black, evil, tough voice, kills people, is kind of the holder of all things dark energy in a galaxy that is so beloved by kids. Kids love Darth Vader. And it's not like Sauron in the Lord of the Rings. No one likes Sauron. No kids are like, oh yeah, Sauron, I wish he'd have done this and this and this. But like kids wear Darth Vader Halloween costumes, and they love Darth Vader. They love impersonating Darth Vader. And I just can't think of another character that is clearly so evil and then on the same hand so loved by little kids. It's crazy.
It's amazing what merchandising can do.
Right.
I think that maybe has a lot to do. Yeah.
His transformation at the end, right, too. Like if he hadn't undergone that, if he hadn't become good dad instead of evil dad, right, I think that's the package. And I can see the appeal to children, right, that like their father has come around.
Yeah. I think that's true.
I think I see some Radiohead art. Is that Hail to the Thief?
Yeah, it's from the it's from the original album. Like this was just a gatefold thing in the original album. So,
wow,
this
very cool.
This is all folded, into the size of a CD. You can actually see the little lines in it, and I loved it, and I took it out, and I just thought, I don't think there's that many people that would have necessarily taken it out of the CD and framed it, because it's just like a little thing in a CD. But it's a great album, Hail to the Thief, and they're an extraordinary band, Radiohead.
And I find them to be the most science fiction like band. They just have this atmosphere to their music that really lends to fantasy really well.
Yeah. Super talented group of people, and they obviously really care about what they do. Each individual member, whether it's Tom York singing or Johnny Greenwood playing guitar or Ed, they all care about their individual jobs that they do that form the collective. And I think it's very hard to talk about bands being compared to the Beatles, because at the time when the Beatles showed up, they really were the kind of trailblazers, changing that art form. So it's very difficult for any other band to come along and be as influential, because, the Beatles were the first in so many different ways based on the time that they started making music. But if you just look at both bands' back catalogs, the Beatles made 14 significant studio albums, and I don't think there's that many other bands that even come close, apart from maybe Radiohead, who have had 11, 12, 13 solid, strong, genre changing, sound changing albums. So in the whole conversation about who are the next pretenders to the crown to the Beatles, I think you probably have to mention Radiohead in that conversation, because they are incredible.
We're about due for a new album too, I'd say.
Yeah.
A little overdue. Hopefully soon.
Yeah, and you would hope that with all the amount of time that we've all spent off in our houses, and Radiohead having not toured for a year or so, I wonder if maybe that influences the next studio album, that instead of writing stuff on the road in between shows, the band have actually had like a straight year off to concentrate on their music, and maybe we'll hear the greatest thing that Radiohead have ever done,
Fingers crossed. Yeah, exactly.
Well, that will be true at least of some other bands, or many bands. I think we're in for a musical golden age after this.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. It's got to be. There's got to be something that comes out of all this, right?
Well, Dom, you've given us so much time. Thank you, and you got to get going, I think, don't you?
Yeah, I'm gonna jump in a car and go drive to Beverly Hills, which is fun to see how the other half lives.
Nice.
Cool.
Well, it was a pleasure meeting you. Thanks for wiping the floor with me. Always good.
Good meeting you too, Marty. That was fun.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Tristan. I appreciate that, and Ryan too. And that was really fun hanging out.
We hope you enjoyed our second episode of Trivia from the Bridge with Dominic Monaghan. Just keep watching for the next episode of Trivia from the Bridge. They will come out every once in a while. Next week, we're talking about Salvation by Peter F. Hamilton, more about Avatar. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff in the months to come, as usual. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Until next time.